The Khajiit are one of the few beast folk races you get to play in the Elder Scrolls series, and their inconsistencies have caused Bethesda to write some pretty interesting lore to justify why they look so different from game to game. Sometimes they look like 6-foot Puss in Boots, like in Skyrim, but other times I don't know what this is supposed to be. I mean, is that Titan? Well, there's a lot of history behind this, and there are about to be a truly astonishing number of cat memes, so prepare your butts, embrace your inner furry, and get ready for how utterly insane the Khajiit are. The Khajiit hail from the half-desert, half-jungle province of Elsewhere, and are largely famous for their culture revolving around Nirn's two moons, Mesa and Secunda. They also claim that there is a third moon, although we'll get into this a bit later. The important thing to note is that the worship of the moons and their cycles isn't purely cultural. These moons dictate what forms Khajiit take, and these forms are called fur stocks. From what I can tell, this has nothing to do with genetics and depends entirely on the phases of the moons, which is hilarious, because Bethesda noticed its inconsistencies about how Khajiit were presented in games and decided that they were going to go right into the deep end. This results in some Khajiit just looking like regular dudes, while others look like house cats. I'm not joking. If you're a Khajiit born under a specific cycle, you can actually become Garfield. Except without thumbs, and this probably makes for some pretty bizarre dynamics in Khajiit culture. In Skyrim and Oblivion, we basically only see the Cathay, and I believe the Suthay is the main representative in Morrowind, but trust me, there are way more. There are the Alfiq, the resident house cats, and the Alfiq Rat, their larger variants. In general, Rat seems to imply a larger variant of the fur stock, with the Cathay Rats being larger versions of the ones we see in Skyrim. Then there are the Dagi and the Dagi Rat, who are bipedal like the Cathay but with lynx-like features, making them lightweight and one of the smaller fur stocks. They're great climbers, and sometimes get mocked by being similar to monkeys, which seems really racist. There are also the Ohms and the Ohms Rat, who are basically just dudes. The Parma or the Parma Rat, who are Chad tiger people. Sench and Sench Rats, who are quadrupedal like your big cats. Suthay and Suthay Rats, who are like the Cathay, but with digitigrade legs. And the Toge and Toge Rat, who are like the Cathay but are better at Kung Fu, apparently? Okay, Tigress, I see you. Ooh, that is a lot of cats. And these are only what I consider to be the normal types of Khajiit fur stock, meaning that these are the ones produced during the regular cycles of Mesa and Secunda. I want to preface again that genetics don't have much of a bearing on the fur stock. I mean, they probably change what colour the fur is, what colour eyes you have, but this means that if your dad's a Cathay and your mother's a Suthay, you could be a house cat, your sister could be a Kung Fu cat, and your brother is a big cat. Oh, and your uncle's Tony the Tiger. You can imagine that this causes a lot of chaos amongst the Khajiit, but they do have someone specific to lead them to guide them through this chaos. The Main. Now, the Main needs to be born under a special alignment of the moons, and it is said that there can only be one Main at a time. Well, kind of. You see, the Khajiit believe that the Main is actually the same person being reincarnated. Kinda like the Avatar, I guess. Huh. We got Furry Yang before GTA 6. Who would have guessed? And the Khajiit people have some pretty strange traditions around the Main, with the Khajiit in the Main's tribe cutting off their manes and branding them onto the Main to the point where they can't walk anymore. The weight of all of their manes means they have to be carried around, and, well, they look super goofy.
What the hell is this?
Still, as goofy as they can look, the Main is the glue that holds Elsewhere together. Or at least, was. After the Oblivion Crisis, one of Elsewhere's largest cities and its surrounding region, Rimmen, left the province. and while they still paid tribute to the main, who was at this point in charge of an independent elsewhere, his assassination caused the country to be split after a Thalmor-backed coup. And there are plenty of rumours suggesting that the Thalmor are the ones who killed the main. As of Skyrim, and Equina in the north and Palatine in the south make up modern Elsewhere. You might be wondering why Elsewhere even listened to the Thalmor in the first place, given that they're hyper-racists who don't view Khajiit very highly, like the other beast races. But this is because of the Void Knights, 2 years in the 4th era in which the moons have vanished. We're not entirely sure what actually happened to the Khajiit during this time. Theories range from giving birth to demon cats, to everyone having stillbirths and babies staying in the womb, being unable to be born. The main was alive at this point, but when the moons came back, the Thalmor took credit, and after the main's death, the Thalmor were the ones the Khajiit looked to. Now, both Anaquina and Palatine are vassal states of the Somerset Isles. Chances are the Khajiit got duped here. But those funny cat dudes need the moons. And while Messa and Secunda give life to Elsewhere, they can also mess it up in some really odd ways from time to time. I mentioned earlier that the Khajiit believe that there is a third moon. They call it the Dark or Dead Moon, and claim that this third moon is the corpse of Lorcaj, aka Lorcan, Shazar, or how I call him, Shaw. But this isn't the interesting part. You see, this moon only comes out during an eclipse, when both Messa and Secunda block the sun. Has to be both of them. And it can do some freaky things to the Khajiit. When the dark moon is out, the main can be born. But if you're not the main and are born here, things can get pretty dicey pretty quickly. Khajiit born here are susceptible to the call of the Dark Heart, an artifact associated with Namira, the Daedric Prince of Darkness, decay, and all around being pretty horrible. Those born under a dark moon can become Droma Athra, corrupted Khajiits whose souls belong to Namira. I like to think of Droma Athra as demon cats, and while mains are usually unaffected, there has once been a dark main, which, I mean, those dark moons, they seem very feast or famine. But that's what you get for worshipping the moons, I guess. And with their links to the moons, the main, and the fear of the Droma Athra, Khajiit are quite a spiritual people. I suppose another good reference in this regard is the traditional Bosma of Valenwood, who the Khajiit had a quick war with because apparently Bosma have sticky fingers. Now this doesn't mean that some of the 9 divines don't get a little bit of love in Elsewhere. You'll still find Akatosh, Mara and Stendar for instance, except they are, they're a little different because, they're cats. Yeah, they're all cats, like the same, but cats. For instance, Akatosh is Alkosh and is the dragon cat of time. What? Now, I don't know what a dragon cat is, but, have fun imagining that one, I guess. God, Todd must have been on something stronger than skooma when writing this, I swear. But the Khajiit's 8 divines are quite different to the ones we find in the Empire. Alkosh, Surrender, Stendar, and Mara make up 3 of the 8. And the others are names you might not have heard of before. We have Joan and Jode taking up a spot collectively, and are the Khajiit names for Secunda and Messa. Then there is Riddlethar, who simultaneously seems to be a collective of messengers, a set of guidelines to live by, and a sugar god, because apparently those things make sense together. I swear the Khajiit are just always high on that moon sugar. Then we have Kinathi, the god of winds, and finally Bandar, the bandit god, because apparently Khajiit don't care about escaping the thieving accusations. Now, there are plenty more gods and minor spirits associated with the Khajiit, but these are the main 8 that all the cats love, and hopefully they give you some sort of idea of why the Khajiit are the way that they are. Sure, the ones in Skyrim aren't the most lore accurate, but if you want an upgrade, I mean, there's always Nexus. And before you leave here to go on to Nexus, I want to leave you with one more fact. According to the Khajiit, Sheogorath, the King of Insanity, is the skooma cat. Oh, no, I'm not kidding. Before we end with Ori singing, I just wanted to say thank you all for 500 subscribers. 1,000's the next landmark, so hopefully we can go for that next. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for all the compliments, and yeah, I'll see you back here soon.